Councillor Sype, Deputy Reeve Campbell, all in favor? Carried. The disclosure of pecuniary interest, if any. None noted. Moving to the consent agenda, is there any points that Deputy Reeve Campbell?
On 4.2.6, under the CEO's report, Maitland Valley have asked for permission to use the council chambers for their annual meeting held February the 15th. We just want to know if we can have that or not. I have a meeting on Wednesday night.
Sharon, do you want to answer that?
So I did tell Maitland Valley that we would book the room, and so it's basically arranged unless council has any objection otherwise.
Okay, any other points in the consent agenda? Of the consent agenda, Vauden and Councillor Sype seconding. All in favor? Carried. Okay. It's 5.1. Okay.
And I'm assuming else.
Yeah. Okay. Moving to 5.1. We have Linda Ross and Alex Galton here from North Huron Food Share. How are we doing this, Yolanda?
Doesn't matter to me. Just do you want to do like a picture thing, Neil?
It would probably be a very good idea. I am letting you say what you would like to say about the donation and that.
Yeah. So at the last council meeting, back at the beginning of the month, I had challenged council and senior management team to donate money to help buy a skid of food for the North Huron Food Share, and we have money that we would like to give to the North Huron Food Share. So between the council and CMT, we raised $330. So we'd like to give that to you this evening.
Thank
You want council in the picture? Or?
Sure, and like whomever else, that would be fine, since everyone contributed. Do you want to do it over here? Where would you guys like us? That makes the most sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
How much does this thing cost before I move?
It's very expensive.
Don't set that right here.
And 1, 2, and 3.
No, I want you to send.
Oh, send it to you? Yeah, no problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was our pleasure to do it.
Really appreciate it. We're pushing it. Just in an odd position. You know.
Did you good?
Yeah.
Okay, moving forward, 6.2.1, and there's a motion required there. Councillor Singh
I will move for discussion purposes, please.
and Councillor Ritz McNamee, second. Go ahead.
Question just to Donna through you, Reeve. This program, I read the agreement. Is there any concern from a reconciliation problem or something that we're not going to meet their criteria to not have to repay back any funds? I know there was some discussion or some things about financial reports and all that stuff about when we meet those deadlines for the province. Is there any issue from regards to finances with regards to that, to getting that information to the province?
No, any type of grant funding that we get comes with all sorts of reporting requirements. So the key is I've outlined what the money can be spent on. So before we go ahead and include those projects in our budget, we have to make sure that they meet the criteria firsthand. And then we have to usually send in all sorts of reports as the projects are completed. But this is our 3-year funding. And as I said, it's increased from what we received in 2016. So it's pretty news to be able to do that.
So supplemental, Reeve, just one thing was, I read in the agreement that it said we have to advise the province if we were to dispose of any assets that we buy into this. Is there any change? Has there ever been an opportunity that we would sell something before or 5 years after we paid that kind of money for it?
No, but well, I mean, certainly that's in all of the funding agreements that we get, only the time changes. Sometimes it says 20 years or 10 years or those types of things. But normally on a lot of these projects, their focus is infrastructure. So road paving, water, sewer replacement, and the chances of us selling off a road with water and sewer infrastructure would be pretty nil. So in those respects, like it's not available for a lot of like building work and those types of things.
But does it also mean just like construction? So, I mean, we could pave a road, and if we make a bad decision, we could do it again, or do some infrastructure twice in 5 years. I guess I'm just questioning whether that is a potential, and how do we flag that type of stuff so that we're not risking any provincial audit or something if that case.
Well, as I said, when we pick the projects, you have to be sure that before the projects are established, that they meet all that criteria and that there would be no opportunity for those types of things to happen.
Okay.
I'm confident that we won't run into that. We have enough infrastructure below the ground to replace that. We're not going to be able to dispose of anything.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? All in favor of the motion? Carried. Moving to 6.3.1, the aquatic boiler. Councillor Syke,
I'll again move for
move for
discussion.
discussion.
Yeah.
Councillor Vaughn seconds. Is there any questions for
Other than
Pat
me?
on this, or is it well enough explained? Go ahead.
Pat, through you, Reeve, is this boiler, or these two boilers, I guess, that looks like that we're having some issues with, have they been a part of the discussion with the contract, the maintenance contract that we had with, when we changed to that maintenance contract? Is that part of this? Are they involved in that?
These boilers are in the aquatic center, and so our maintenance agreement for this equipment is with Cliffs Plumbing and Heating. And so they oversee in the aquatic center the Dectron unit and the two boilers and any other of the mechanical pumps and things like that that are part of the aquatic center. They're not specialty aquatic equipment per se, so they are not under a contract with an aquatic company.
No, I guess my question was, we changed to a company for that.
Right.
And I wanted to make sure that this wasn't them, because the intention, what I got from this was, we've known about this for some time. And I don't really like the fact that we're now in a position where we need to rush stuff, because it sounds like from what I'm hearing, we've had this potentially on the recommendation since April.
Right, so, the contract I think you're thinking of is for the refrigeration
Yep,
maintenance equipment, which is in
different.
different company, different equipment. This is specifically for the aquatic center. So the two boilers are the same boilers that were purchased when the building was built. In April, we had an entire assessment of our mechanical equipment in the aquatic center performed. That's where it was sort of red flagged that these are very close to the end of their life expectancy. And knowing that we were coming up to a pool renovation, this was going to be slotted in as definite opportunity to replace at that time. Unfortunately, one of the units did not make it to that date, which would have been convenient, but it didn't, so we've replaced one. We're getting the other one up and running. My last check-in, they were in today. They've got the one going, and they were just about to open up the other one today. So it was always nice to be able to have all the money ahead of time and know, but our goal was to really do this with the renovation project, knowing that this is where it was in its life expectancy. The boiler that is still operational, I think it was a couple of years ago, we had the burners replaced on that one, so that's why we believe that one is still operational and just needs some repairs to kind of keep it going until we can replace it with the renovation project.
So the intention is still to replace the second one with
Yes.
the renovation project. So
Yes.
we're not anticipating that's gonna get us any more life expectancy with the repairs than just that project. Is that correct? Based on what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so I think I'm saying yes to your answer. Our goal is to replace one today to get it running at 100%. The other one we want to get working. The pool can operate without both running 100%, so get the other one working as efficiently as we can, move them forward until we're doing our renovation project, and at that time, do that capital replacement.
Deputy Reeve?
Through the Reeve, Matt, this is part of the budget for 2016, it's just something extra.
This is inside the 2016 budget under the general facility repair. So we're asking to spend that money on we've spent it now, but this is where we found that money in the 20,000 general facility repairs that we set aside every year. So this is a 2016 budget item and fixed.
Okay. All in favor of the motion? Carried. 6.3.2. Florida Children's Center. You're moving. Richmond Taninga. And Councillor Hallahan seconding. Any quiet? Bill?
Just a little quick, is there any reason why we couldn't put this up forward in the 2017 budget and then just authorize to spend the money now? And why we're altering the 2016 budget at this point in time?
Pat?
Yeah, so we had that conversation at senior management team to determine whether this would be a 2016 or a 2017 project. It's really whichever way you want to look at it, but we received the 11,600. We want to order it now, get this project moving so that actually the Children's Center closes down at the end of this week. They will likely begin work next week, which is in 2016. It'll carry into 2017. I don't think it really mattered one way or the other which Donna we chose. We just had to select it's either a 2016 item and we're moving it out of reserves into there. But either way, we would be coming today to ask that the money either be pre-approved for 2017 or spent in 2016. It could have gone either way, Bill. It's just, we had to pick one or the other. So we selected to do it this way. Right, because we are starting in December.
Okay, Deputy
All right,
Reeve?
I mean, if that makes more sense for finance, that's fine.
Can you do it all in the Christmas break? We're hoping.
Yes, assuming everything, all the stars line up, that is the goal, is by the end of the Christmas break, when those kids come back in, all the flooring will be done.
Okay. Anything further? All in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay, moving to 6.5.1. Councillor Hallahan, you're moving?
Yes.
And Deputy Reeve Campbell, seconding. Is there any discussion? Councillor Syke.
I think probably this is a question for Chad more than, I guess, because Dave's not here,
Yeah.
but through you, is there a conversation about pagers and how how are they maintained, or is I'm not sure how old these pagers are, or.
The thing is with pagers now, everybody's issued a pager in a case, which they're supposed to carry in a case.
Yep.
As we move to 2016, 17, 18, technology changes, everything's made cheaper. The pagers we get now, when they get dropped, broke, run over, they don't last. Compared to 10 years ago when we were carrying pagers, they were rugged, waterproof, and now they're just, the pagers we're switching to now are supposed to be waterproof, drop proof, and come with a case and warranty and all that stuff. But I don't have one here, but the Swiss foam pagers we were using that previous chiefs brought in were just hard plastic and cheaper made and didn't last. Does that answer your question?
Yep. And the other question I had was so you do an annual check on all hoses, or are they spread out all over the year, or?
We do it, and we have to test them all.
Yeah.
Under the NFPA. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
So it takes the course of the year to do. So as the year went on.
So this one just happened to fall in the time in which you did the test now. It's not as if we've tested it before.
Yeah, no, it was just tested.
Okay.
And it's been a busy year of
Yeah.
slugging and dragging these hoses.
Yep.
Yeah, they're expected to.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay, 6.5.2, revisions to the emergency preparedness.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Councillor Hallahan, Councillor Syke. Discussion?
I just would have a comment that, not necessarily with regards to the bylaw, but the actual emergency plan, I think could use just somebody to review it to ensure that there's proper spelling and grammar and just make sure that everything's proofread. I did notice a couple of pretty bad spelling mistakes that we should probably clean up based on that.
Okay, that's noted. All in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay, moving to 7.1. Councillor Syke.
I will move the recommendation because I was going to ask the same question as the recommendation was going to ask, so that's good.
Okay.
I think it's necessary that we, if another municipalities see some issues with some taxation, I suspect they're not the only municipality. So I think we need to check and verify, and I think a report from Donna would be beneficial on that first.
Councillor Vaughn, seconds. Is there any further discussion? Okay, noted, Donna. Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, moving to 8.1. We have winter now. Well, it was summer-like when we left the last council meeting. We definitely have winter, and that actually last Thursday, the most roads were closed that I can ever remember. And that streamers in off Lake Huron definitely brought a lot of snow. And admittedly, it created some bottlenecks in places. The thing of it is, I think that there's a number of things that with some of the changes we've done, we have to give them a chance to really settle into the jobs. I know that there was, for the week before, there was some problems in the north end of East Wawanach Township, and it was basically, it was getting used to the equipment again and things like that. So that I think we have to take a look at public works people doing the best job they can, sometimes with equipment that they have, and trying to be ready. I know that coming in tonight that I noticed on Belfast Road, the banks were pushed back. We're ready for the next snowfall. That far better than we were last week, and that sometimes we just have to let the workers get the job done, so that, and basically I think that is a big part of it. That I know that there was a Tim Hortons opening in a neighboring municipality that I attended Friday morning, so that that was interesting to see it finally having the grand opening, and good luck to them. Okay, we'll move to 8.2, council members. If there's things that they want to report on, Deputy Reed Campbell.
Some of the councilors were down to the Christmas dinner down at the Knights Columbus Hall on Saturday. And it was a great turnout of people there. And at least I had a great time. I don't know about any rest, but I had a great time.
Yeah.
Good to see all those people coming in.
Thank you. Councilor Vodden.
Yeah, I have a question about the bag tags. We're out of them in our grocery store in Blythe, and we have been for quite a long time. And I'm just inquiring about how those tags are distributed. I know that it's not easy for the people to get away if they have to come to Wingham to pick them up, and we don't offer them any compensation, I understand, for distributing the tags.
Donna, do you want to?
Compensation.
Yeah, they don't have to pay, they pay a reduced price to purchase them.
Well, do
so
they?
that- yeah.
I talked to one of the staff, and she may have the wrong information.
And
But
we normally try to do whatever we can, like we don't deliver them, but, you know, we have made arrangements if there was, you know, some sort of circumstances to have some taken down, but they do have to pay for them up front. So
Yeah.
sometimes they don't want to put out a lot of cash, but they can buy as few or as many as they wish to carry.
And just one other point, I think the streets in Blythe look terrific now, as they've done a great job in handling a very difficult situation. I think it's unfortunate that some rumors circulated and had a lot of people upset. It didn't need to be, because they got word that strange things were happening in the public works, and none of them were true that I have encountered anyway. So I think we all need to be careful we're not making things worse.
Kathy, did you want to comment on bag tags?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, Brock, too, that they have them at the Blythe Variety too.
Right.
The Blythe Variety Store
I know
also
that doesn't help
stocks
me.
the bake tags.
I just wanted to comment that we did have a meeting with the chair of the BIA today in Blythe, and the director of public works called in, and we are going to be putting out some communication through the BIA just about levels of service and establishing that link where we can receive feedback from the public. We are certainly changing our operational parameters. We are merging two organizations, and staff is being relocated from one place to the other. We're blending our public works teams. And so there is, some learning curve going on. And we also did get a very big dump of snow in a very short period of time. So we've had some positive communication with the BIA, and we will be putting out some communication through the chair of the BIA to the BIA membership, just to keep those lines of communication open.
And I think it needs to go to the public as well.
We will certainly do that.
Councillor Slate.
I would recommend if we're sending anything to one BIA that it be sent to the other one as well. Just don't sending it to one. I think it's better that if all businesses are aware of it, then same level of service, level of communication should be established with both the public as well as the businesses within the municipalities.
Agreed.
Okay, noted. Councillor Slate.
I just wanted to follow up with Deputy Reeve Campbell's assessment of the Saturday. It was an excellent day. I do want to commend Gary Lyle and his support team of volunteers. I think I've been there for 3 years, and there's one thing that you get when you go there is if you don't leave there with a smile on your face, it's very, there's something wrong with you, because the kids are very excited when they go to see Santa. The people are there. They're happy to be there. These are people that are not as fortunate as all of us, and one thing Gary and his staff really say, and I take this to heart that day, is it's not about us. It's not about the municipality. It's not about anybody but the people who are coming in that door. And if you have to say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays 700 times, then you say it 700 times. You make sure that they leave there and they want to come back in a year from now. And I think this municipality and this council has been very supportive of that group through swimming and passes and all that type of stuff that we provide to make their Christmas or their holidays even brighter, because that's the best thing we could do as a council for them, and I'm glad to be a part of it every year. I put it on my calendar every year, so it was an excellent day, and I commend that group for it.
Okay. Bill.
I'd just like everybody to know that on January 1st, the Blythe 140 committee has organized a full day of events, specifically aimed at kids, but I think the parents will have a little bit of fun. And there is going to be information posted on that. But I invite everybody, whether you're from Blythe or Wingham, bring your kids, come on down January the 1st. I just noticed Lisa's little list of events that she's dreamed up, hooping up kids and trying to do hula hoops in your winter parka, blowing bubbles to freeze them in the air, snow graffiti work with food color, scavenger hunts, and snowball shot practices. So there are tug of wars and so on. Most of these she's organized them well so that they're individual kid events. You don't have to have a team or a whole group of kids, but even so, if you've got one kid, bring them down. There's lots for them to do. So this will be the kickoff, sort of the Blythe 140 year for the anniversary. So everybody's welcome. Should be a good day for them. So that's January 1st during the day.
Okay. And more information. They have a website, don't they?
Yeah, it should all be on the website. There's a Facebook page that'll have information as well. There is a poster that will be spread up. I'm not sure if we'll get them off, whether they're planning on bringing them up to Wingham, but if anybody wants more information to distribute, just send me an email and I'll fire you back a copy of the poster with all the details and information on it for you. We'll try and make sure it gets posted in the Wingham newspaper as well. I make mention. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Okay, if there's nothing else in that, we move to 8.3.1. Councillor Ritzman-Dominga.
Yeah, so about a year and a bit ago, I was contacted by a resident of 45 Alfred Street, one of the, it's a county seniors apartment complex, and they have issues with parking, especially in the winter when a lot of the seniors have to get up and leave their cars early in the morning so that the plows can, because they have to park street side because there isn't adequate parking for that apartment complex. So anyway, Agnes Harrington was the one lady that I've been speaking with, and she had received a letter from the county that had stated back in the summer that they would going to be looking at this in the fall, and nothing has ever happened. And so she's inquired again, and still nothing has happened. And the response that she received back was rather disappointing and almost rude from the county housing authority. So I just want to put forward a motion or a resolution that we as a council encourage the county to really look at this situation and come up with a resolution for this parking issue sooner than later for these seniors.
Okay. Is that?
There's the motion.
And the suggested motion that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby requests the Director of Public Works contact the Huron County Housing Authority for an update on parking concerns at their building located at 45 Alfred Street in Wingham and report back to Council on the status. Brock?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Carried. Okay. And 8.3.2. Councillor Knott.
As you know, and I guess in a way, if you wish, I'll get up there because I'll be speaking not as a councillor, but as a citizen in this case. So if you'd like me to stand at the podium, I will.
Okay,
But,
whichever you feel.
I don't have to because I'm going to ask your permission to do one thing. I have in my hand here, and we don't have an exact final count, but pretty loosely based on everything that's coming. There are still some sheets not coming. Some I now understand are sailing the land of the Caribbean on a Disney cruise. I assume unless Chad has them, they're going to leave them for you. So there are more coming, but we have in fact at this point in time definitely surpassed 1,000 signatures on this petition. And I bring it forward to you today because this is a Huron County issue, not a North Huron issue. So this is a citizen's petition to the county requesting the stoplight. I think everybody on council has read it. And in fact, I'm pretty sure you have because you've signed it. And part of it says that you've read it before you signed it. So what I'd like to do at this point actually is I'd like to introduce you to Chris Patterson, and with your permission, let him kind of get up because Chris, at the same time we were trying to prepare for this, Chris started a Facebook, whatever you call it on Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook guy, whatever you call it, your Facebook page or whatever. But and for a specific reason that prompted Chris to start it, so it's kind of interesting to hear that story, and it's the background to this. So I would like to get up, and he has been a driving force in distributing this petition and raising it. How many people now are on the Facebook page?
I've got on right now there's 911.
We probably actually have more signatures than we even have on the Facebook page, so that's kind of interesting. That's not a normal situation. So come up, tell them your story, how you got involved, if you don't mind.
I'm
2 seconds.
bending the rules here a little bit, and yes, we will take
Thank you.
Chris's.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. As you know, you may not know, I was in an accident at Highway 4, County Road 25 on November 16th, 10 a.m. I'm not good with dates. I remember, I always forget. My wife will attest to that. But it's a date that I'll always remember. I was heading north on Highway 4, coming into Blythe, 6 doors down from my house. And out of nowhere, I didn't see it coming. I usually check intersections. I'm pretty cautious when I drive. Someone hit me from the left-hand side. They were coming from the west. It can be pretty hard. I was driving a Dodge Ram truck, buckled the right side of my truck. That's how hard I was hit. Took me about 30 seconds to kind of realize what happened. After I kind of came to my senses, my first response was the other person. I look back, I see a red Grand Am kind of rolling off to the side, and no one's getting out. I saw a car seat in the back seat, and I just, first responder, just like, took over, go see if the other person's okay, see how many people are in the vehicle. So that's what I did. Thank God there's no child in the car seat. It was just a young woman, very scared. And all she was saying, she wouldn't let me even get a word in. She's like, "Are you okay? I didn't see you. Honest, I didn't see you. I didn't see you." And I wasn't upset. I truly believe she didn't see me. She said she stopped at the stop sign and proceeded. That corner is a very hard corner. Even before Tim Hortons was put there, it's even harder now to see. The new owner of Tim Hortons as well was almost in an accident after he signed the petition. That he was the night before. We went to pick it up, and he's like, "Last night I was leaving, I almost got hit." I've lived in Blythe for about 8 years. I always knew it was a bad corner. But I never did anything about it. And of course, I became one of those people that didn't do anything until something happened. And I feel bad because I should have done something a long time ago. But here I am. I decided I'm gonna try something. I'm not a social media guy by any means. I just started my Facebook account like maybe 3 years ago, so I put it up there. That night when I was laying in bed, I was like, you know what? This isn't me. Like, I don't start Facebook groups. I'm like, tomorrow morning I'll just probably delete it. Well, breakfast I had 100 people on there. I was like, wow, okay. By lunchtime I had 200 people. By supper I had 500 people. In 4 days I had over 800 people all concerned, and I'm like, this is real. Like, these are people at the time, and they're telling me stories on Facebook and PMing me and like send me messages via Facebook, stories, and it was moving, is what it was. And I'm a quiet guy. I'm not good at public speaking, as you can kind of tell. I wasn't expecting to be the voice of 1,000 people, but I am. People stop me in the grocery store, and they see me pick up a petition. They're like, "You're helping with petitions?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they shake my hand and thank me. It's a big concern. I was picking up a petition at the post office, and a little lady, she was got to be 80 or 90, picking it up. She grabbed me by the arm and she put my hand by the pen. She's like, "You make sure you sign that twice." So it ranged, like, I have young people saying, yes, it's an issue. I have old people saying, yes, it's an issue. Only found one person who said that they hadn't had a close encounter with it, and that was my neighbor. And he said to me, he goes, "Yeah, I haven't had a close encounter, but I consider myself one of the lucky ones." And it's a town, a community shouldn't have to do that. They shouldn't have to go through that. So, yeah, I started this Facebook page, and then it just so happened that Bill was starting a petition at the same time. I heard that through rumors, so I reached out to him and we got together. I had the community on my side. We can't do it without council. I know council had a bad reputation. A lot of people, for some reason, you know, like, this is something that everybody has to look past, and people understand that. With 915, only 4 people have left the group, my Facebook page. Everybody's paying attention to posts. They're not getting, oh man, I'm getting responses, I'm gonna leave this group. They stay in touch. They wanna know what's happening. They wanna work with council. They want this to happen. So. So as I distributed the petitions, I've been to Clinton, I've been to Lawrenceburg, Walton, Blythe, Wingham, Lucknow, all of it. And everywhere I drop off, someone has a story. Tractors running over top of cars. Cars hitting trailers at 80. The guy behind me said it was like an explosion. It was clothes and propane tanks flying. I stopped someone on the street, signed a petition. They're like, well, I'm from Kincardine. Can I sign it? I'm like, well, you're in Blythe, aren't you? Yeah. And what intersection is it for? I'm like, it's down there. My neighbor lost her daughter at that intersection, and she signed it. So these accidents they affect a wide range of people. A lot of stories were the same accident, and that speaks volumes because it affects. We're all close knit. I myself have been to numerous accidents. Done first response. I've seen people die in front of me, and I don't want on anybody. The people who respond, you know, my neighbor across the road, and he told me a story about someone dying. You can see it in his face. And it's our community that responds to these accidents, and it affects us as a whole. So, but on a good note, our community is growing. We have a new brewery in, a new Tim Hortons gas station. The hog barn beside the gas station, I heard just recently sold, and there's rumors of new development there, possibly hotels is what the rumor is. Soccer fields are getting all redone. Something needs to be done in that corner to get rid of the accidents and control pedestrian traffic as well, because we don't want kids playing soccer and having to run across Highway 4 to go get a Slurpee at the gas station or some Timbits. So we can't slow it down. We have to stop it to let people go by. We need sidewalks in there as well, but that's another thing. Cowbell's going to have a restaurant as well. So you're going to have a lot of foot traffic. It's an older community. I see people constantly walking down the grass to get to the Tim Hortons. I see them taking the laneway that goes way up high and it comes down in the wintertime. Someone's going to get hurt. So that whole end of town needs to be redeveloped, but we need to start with stoplights because that's what's going to kill people. So that's why I'm here. I'm here on behalf of right over 1,000 people, asking for your support. We can go to Huron County and ask them to do something about it because people of Blythe and the people in the community are investing in Blythe, and North Huron is investing in Blythe. We need Huron County to invest in it as well. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
So, in a nutshell, just to make it simple, then all I'm asking for here is for the council to authorize a letter in support of this petition when we present it to Huron County, which should be on January the 4th.
Just a second, Bill. The suggested motion that the council of the Township of North Huron hereby approves council providing a letter of support for the petition to Huron County regarding the installation of traffic lights at the intersection of Highway 4 and County Road 25. Okay, and I would like to make comment. We've heard the perfect storm when a number of things come together to make a disaster. We have a road that from one angle, the road curves in. In a lot of vehicles, you look sideways and there's a door post giving you a big blind spot, which might have been the case in Chris's accident. the other side of it, the west side is way lower than the curve in what used to be Highway 4. East side was properly built up to closely match in, but there's a number of low-ride trailers for bulldozers, etc., scrape through there every summer. There's just a number of things wrong with that corner that if we aren't going to correct them all, we have to do something to slow or stop the traffic, and that while I have not signed the petition as being a county councillor, I wholeheartedly support it. I will support it in the discussions at county council. Just don't think that it's maybe proper me signing before I deliver verbal arguments in favor of it at the county. That's the only reason that I haven't. Okay, any further discussion?
So part of me, I have signed the petition. I truly support the discussion about ways to slow traffic and stop it if in the case may be. But what I wondered if the conversation is that, and I don't know whether this is the case, but so I'm being the devil's advocate for a minute here. I'm just saying, if we're saying regarding the installation of a traffic light, if they so choose to not do that, is that the only option that they're given? So I guess my question is that I think in my mind, I'm thinking any vehicle motion or something, anything that would deter the way the traffic is today is more beneficial than not doing anything. So I guess the concern is that by presenting a petition that specifically states a traffic light, if they so choose to ignore that petition and not do it, are they left themselves an option of not doing anything because we've left it either cut and dry? I don't know. I'm just, that's only my thought now, because as I'm reading and thinking this, is that if I'm a counselor and we get these all the time, you're asking for this is the option. Okay, if we don't do that, then it's not. So I guess in some of the conversations that whoever's presenting this, Chris or whoever, that I think maybe some discussion about that, maybe some help the discussion at the county level to say, whatever your deliberations are, maybe it's not necessarily, I don't know, but think about what the options could be for this particular this intersection, because it is a bad intersection. Like, let's be quite, 1,000 people are obviously, I'm sure if there's more time, I'm sure you get another 1,000. And for every week, I'm sure you're gonna get another 1,000. So they may not all be Huron County residents, and all at the end of the day don't have any skin in the fact that if there is anything going on there, but however, it's an issue. So I'm just hoping that by presenting that option, it gives them more flexibility as opposed to a cut and dry scenario. That's all. That was only my comment. But I'm okay either way on whatever the group decides.
Well,
Trying, without getting too far into it, that the petition actually states that it's imperative that the county take immediate steps to improve traffic control situation. That doesn't mean that the traffic light is A, the perfect solution, or B, the long-term solution, but it is the best immediate solution. Four-way stop really isn't going to solve your problem. There are pedestrian issues and so on that four-way stops will not incur. People have said, how about a traffic circle? We think that's a wonderful idea. Problem is you're going to extend the time that the intersection remains the way it is for anywhere from 3 to 4 years by the time you engineer it and come up with the $5 million to do it. Because it will be very expensive at that corner to realign it and raise the elevations in order to make a traffic circle possible. That's fine in the long run if that's the way county wishes to go 5 years from now or 3 years from now. I'm fine with that. My problem isn't 5 years from now. My problem is tonight and tomorrow morning. And when you look at the options that are there, a traffic light is the one. And the reason I asked for traffic light specifically was we have, and they have been approached in the past by this prior councils and other people. The topic has been broached, and the fallback always is that there is not enough traffic to justify a traffic signal. So what they're saying is that they want is a few more people to die before they decide that maybe there is a problem. And I'm not prepared to stand back and let that happen. And if they want to put a cost, a price on a life of a resident of Huron County or anywhere else, then that's a decision they're going to have to make. But I'm not prepared to stand by and let that happen. And this, by all appearances, I've looked at it. I'm not an expert in traffic control, but I do a lot of driving every year. And I go through traffic circles, everything else. And when I examine this and the type of pedestrian traffic we're going to end up with, and children and the whole 9 yards there, the best option I can see today, right now, is to put in a traffic light. And then they can do what they want for the long-term future. If they can come up with a better solution, I'm happy with that. I just don't want to be what has happened in the past, and that's reactive. Let's wait till somebody dies and then we'll fix the problem. I want to be proactive. Let's stop it now. That's my one.
Councillor Vaughn.
Do we have a seconder for the motion? I'd like to second it.
Bill's moving. Okay, you're seconding, Brock. Okay. Trevor.
I did want to also mention too, based on what Chris mentioned and even Bill has mentioned about pedestrian, we've had some conversations with Central Huron with regards to pedestrian traffic and how does that look based on our shared services agreement, how that determines how do we get traffic, how do we get pedestrian traffic from the downtown Blythe out to Tim Hortons and out to the Cowboy Burley. I don't know if we've made final decisions on anything yet, but those conversations are still ongoing. So hopefully we can, hopefully that will be something that can continue to have constructive conversations, because I think we've been having some good conversations now. I think their definitely ear is listening, because obviously those buildings are in their municipality and they don't want the risks either. So I think we're jointly working together. I think from a standpoint, Jim and Councillor Campbell or Deputy Campbell and Neil Reed Vincent have been on those tables. So I think we've definitely had some conversations. I think those conversations are going to continue.
Councillor Vaughn.
I've heard that the statistics that the county has been using are old statistics and are not valid. I don't know if that's the case or not, but if they are using old statistics, then that's a phoning way to deal with this issue, which is rapidly changing and getting worse every day.
Well, I've been told verbally, I don't have it in front of me, but a number of accident reports, it will be written up as Blythe Road or London Road combination. And I have been told that there is 9 different ways that accidents at that corner have been reported. So that is why they're not all in a big figure jumping out at you, that it doesn't seem, but it's maybe how things are recorded, and that somebody needs to go back through some of the reporting and verify that, yeah, this all happened at the same place. And that I think bringing that statistic forward may give us a little bit of traction, especially at county council, in showing that there maybe is a reason that it doesn't seem like the number of accidents. I know in talking to some OPP guys that, that less than a third of the accidents are they notified? Unfortunately, a number of them are 5, 6 weeks after, when the gentleman's agreement and the handshake at the accident that was only a fender bender, when the person's doesn't agree to cover the costs, at that time, the police are brought in and they really can't do enough. It's a very underreported accident level for all the accidents there is at that corner, so that, Brock?
If all of those statistical issues are true, then we need some professionalism in the statistics analysis.
Yes.
That's monkey business.
Just a quick comment, Chris, that when you're not a deputation, I'm bending the rules a little bit, but go ahead.
I just wanted to mention that when I contacted Huron County, I asked the chief administrative officer. I was diverted to someone else, but they told me that they did the traffic audit, the road strips, when school season was in, because that's the busy time. And Blythe is not, Blythe is a summer town. It's our busiest time. Like, they're not gonna go to Grand Bend and do their study at their traffic lights in October. So why would they do Blythe?
Sure.
There are certain prescribed times of year where those traffic counts have to fall within, and certain times of the day. So it's actually prescribed under legislation for establishing those average daily traffic counts for the minimum maintenance standards. So there are parameters around which they have to have.
Yeah, okay. I think we've hashed and bashed this a fair bit. Is there anything new? If not, all in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay. Nothing in notice of motion? Okay. Moving to bylaws. That bylaw number 115, 2016, being a bylaw to authorize the Township of North Huron to execute and affix the corporate seal, to authorize an amendment for automatic fire aid suppression services with the Township of North Huron, be introduced, read a first, second, third, and final time, signed by the Reeve clerk and engrossed in the bylaw book. Councillor Wadden, Councillor Sype, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, that bylaw number 116, 2016, being a bylaw to authorize the Reeve clerk to sign on behalf of council an Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund formula-based component agreement between Her Majesty the Queen and Right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, and the Corporation of the Township of North Huron, be introduced and read a first, second, and third and final time, signed by the Reeve clerk and engrossed in the bylaw book. Councillor Knott, Councillor Hallahan, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. And bylaw 117, 2016, being a bylaw to amend Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C of bylaw 54, 2007, being a bylaw to adopt an emergency management program for the Township of North Huron, be introduced, read a first, second, third, and final time, signed by the Reeve clerk, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Councillor Sype, Councillor Knott, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Is there any announcements? Okay, no other business? We're up to closed session. We'll ask for a motion. Councillor Syke, Councillor Knott, all in favor? Carried. And that we will have a little bit of a break. Joan, you want to grab?